If you've been wondering how you can use Webflow and the Zapier Live update in order to update live items in your CMS collection, I want to show you how you can do that. One of the big snags that people tend to hit is that it requires an item ID. And so I want to show you how you can get that item ID using the Webflow API. So I'm going to come up here and I'm in my Webflow dashboard. I'm just going to create a new project. I need some CMS items. So I'm going to come down here to the templates and I'm going to go free. And I'm going to choose CMS. So I'm going to go ahead and use, it really doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and use this Propel template. So I'm going to select this template. And I'm just going to call it my API test. You can call it whatever you like. You may already have a project. And if you do, great. If you got CMS items, great. Then you can kind of skip this part. So once that's loaded, I'm going to come over here and look. I've got 3 collections. One's features, one's team members, and one is blog posts. I want to be able to make an API call and get the item ID so I can update them with a Zapier, using Zapier, so with the Zap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here to my project settings, go ahead and publish this site, and then if you come over here to integrations, to the integrations tab in your site settings, and you scroll down, you're going to have this API access. So I'm going to generate an API token. Now, word of warning before you do this, you want some place to copy and paste this to that's secure, 1Password, something. This is essentially, it's like it's a token, a password, so people can make changes to your site. So I'm going to generate this API token. I'm blurring this out in the video so you can't see my API key, my token. I'm copying it so I have it, and I'm actually going to paste it into a note program here. And so I have it, and so now I've got my token. I can start making calls to the API. So I'm going to jump back into the designer real quick. And then I am going to go get something called Postman. So you can get this on Windows or on Mac. Create a new tab. You can just Google Postman. And when you Google it, you'll see it is getpostman.com. So you can go ahead and grab that here. And once you load the site, it's loaded and up and running, you should be able to scroll all the way down here to the bottom, and in the footer there is a resources section, and just under that there's downloads, and this is where you can download Postman. You can download it for Mac, or you can download it for Windows or Linux if you're using Linux. And then once it's downloaded, we're going to open up Postman, and this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to do a few things. So this is kind of where we're going to do all of our work to get our ITs. I'm going to go back to my browser real quick. And I went to developers.webflow.com. I already had this loaded. This is the CMS API reference guide to kind of know how it works and all that. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to look here for sites. And so we just want to be able to list our sites. So we want to get our sites. So I'm just going to, you can see over here to the right, we've got an example request. So the example request would look like this. We're going to ask api.webflow.com/sites. We're going to ask for those sites to be listed. And we've got authorization in the form of a bearer token, which is what we took from our site settings earlier. And we also have this accept version 1.0.0. Okay, so confusing, I know, but 3 things. So I'm just going to copy this right here. This address, api.webflow.com/sites. Okay, I'm going to go back to Postman. Okay, and I'm going to enter my request URL. So I'm just going to paste that there. Boom. Get api.webflow.com/sites. Okay. Now in my headers, I need to add in accept version. So I'm just going to do accept-version. And then my value is going to be 1.0.0. And if we switch back over here, you'll see this. Yeah, accept-version 1.0.0. Okay. And then the other thing that we need to add, once we've added that in, we're going to go to authorization, and we're going to use a bearer token. So put this here, okay, and then I'm going to paste the token that I was using before that I copied. So I'm just going to paste that token in. Okay, now that I've pasted that token in, I'm going to go back to my headers, and then I can hit send here. And now you're going to be able to see that I get my site. So we'll go ahead and send. You'll see that now I can get my site. When I hit send, it says, the ID of the site is this. The name of the site is API test, which is what it is. Here's the short name. So now I have my site ID. So I can copy this site ID and hold on to it because I'm going to use it again later. So I'm going to come back over here to my notepad, and I'm just going to copy in my site ID. So my site ID was this right here. So now that I have a site ID, I want to be able to go to the next step. So let's get site ID. I want to get my collections. And so if I want to list collections here, you'll see that it is api.webflow.com/sites, my site ID, and collections. So I'm just going to copy all this over right here, and you'll notice still asking for a bearer token, accept version, but since we've already set those in Postman, we don't have to do that again. You'll see it's noting I've got two headers, which is that token and accept version. So I'm going to post this in, and then I'm just going to replace this with my previous site ID that I already grabbed. So I pasted this in. Okay, and then if I send this, it's coming back with 3 collections. So I see I have features, team members, and blog posts. So if I come back over to my site, you'll remember that I had features, team members, and blog posts. So I do have those 3. It did pull those right across, so I'm on the right track. Let's say I'm going to live item update blog posts. So I want to grab the ID for blog posts because I need to know the ID for this collection. I'm just going to copy that again in my notepad. I'm just going to put in, collection ID. It is this right here. Okay, now that I've got it, I should be good to go. Okay, so let's go back over to the API and let's go, okay, get all items for a collection. That's what we want to do. So it's api.webflow.com/collections, the ID of the collection, and then items. So we're going to copy this over. So we copy this, bring it back over here. This is the dummy ID for the collection that I'm looking for. But this is it right here. I'm looking for blog posts. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it in, and then when I hit send here, okay, now it's giving me all my blog posts. So you can see them here, right? So let's go back up to the top. Name, cooking Indian food at home, where to start. So let's go back over to my my project, go to blog post, cooking Indian food at home, where to start. You can see that's all just right there, right? Like it's got everything. Here's my images, my thumbnail image, and then you'll notice here is the ID. This is my item ID. This is what you need to update Zapier. So when it's asking for that item lookup, this is the ID you need. So you could go through and copy the ID for each of your collection items. And then back over here, what we could do is in blog posts, we could just add a field, and we could go plain text, and we could say this is item ID, and save that field. And then once we've saved it, we could save the collection. We could come in here and scroll down under item ID. This is the ID for cooking Indian food at home, where to start. Save. Now any Zap that has pulled this information, if we pulled this CMS information and we want a live item update, or if we're using another program, another app, and we want to use that, maybe it's Google Sheets, and so you could keep Google Sheets running inventory for your e-commerce products, and you want to be able to kind of update that. You get some new product in, you update the items in the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet gets updated because one of the fields, one of the columns in the spreadsheet has this item ID. Zapier triggers, looks up the item, updates the order quantity or the inventory quantity for you, right? So you can do a lot of different things with this, but that's how you find that item ID. We're going to use the API in Postman. So hopefully this video helps you understand it. I know it's confusing and I was probably moving really fast. Good news is with YouTube we can pause and go back and look through. So let me know if you have any questions. Be happy to help and answer where I can. Thanks.